Disclaimer: all objects used in this video that represent weaponry or legal material are props used for entertainment purposes. State of Florida versus Tesmentero Mitchell. Plea of guilty and negotiated sentence. I hereby enter my plea of guilty because I am guilty. Before entering such a plea of guilty, I was advised of the nature of all the charges against me, the statutory offenses included within such charges, the range of maximum allowable punishments for each charge, all the possible defenses to each charge, and all circumstances and mitigation of such charges. I have been advised of all other facts essential to a full and complete understanding of all offenses with which I have been charged, and of all offenses to which I am entering this plea. I have been advised of all direct consequences of the sentence to be imposed. Specific terms of negotiated sentence. Count 1, violation of racketeering laws. Count 2, conspiracy to engage in pattern of racketeering activity. My sentence has been negotiated in this case, and I understand that it is as follows. Count 1, adjudication of guilt. The defendant and the state agreed to a sentencing range of time served on the date of sentencing to 20 years Florida State Prison. The court may impose a period of probation up to 10 years following any period of incarceration. Count 2, adjudication of guilt. The defendant and the state agreed to a sentencing range of time served on the date of sentencing to 20 years Florida State Prison. The court may impose a period of probation up to 10 years following any period of incarceration. This sentence will run concurrent to the sentence in Count 1. Tesmentero Mitchell on October 22, 2013, in the county of Duval in the state of Florida, did unlawfully by force, violence, assault, or putting in fear, take money or other property, a phone, the property of Logan Stafford, as owner or custodian, from the person or custody of Logan Stafford, with the intent to permanently or temporarily deprive Logan Stafford of the money or other property, contrary to the provisions of Section 812132C, Florida statutes. Tesmentero Mitchell on November 4, 2013, in the county of Duval in the state of Florida, did unlawfully take money or other property, a phone, from Tunemi Wynn's person with the intent to permanently or temporarily deprive Tunemi Wynn nor the owner of the money or other property, when, in the course of the taking, Tunemi Wynn was or became aware of the taking. Contrary to the provisions of Section 81213112B, Florida statutes. Tesmentero Mitchell on November 4, 2013, in the county of Duval in the state of Florida, did unlawfully take money or other property, U.S. currency, from Jesse Hartley's person with the intent to permanently or temporarily deprive Jesse Hartley or the owner of the money or other property, when, in the course of the taking, Jesse Hartley was or became aware of the taking. Contrary to the provisions of Section 81213112B, Florida statutes. Tesmentero Mitchell on November 9, 2013, in the county of Duval in the state of Florida, did carry a firearm, and did unlawfully by force, violence, assault, or putting in fear, take money or other property, a wallet, the property of James Brookins, from the person or custody of James Brookins, with the intent to permanently or temporarily deprive James Brookins of the money or other property, and during the commission of the aforementioned robbery, the said Tesmentero Mitchell did actually possess a firearm. Contrary to the provisions of Section 812132 and 77508721, Florida statutes. Tesmentero Mitchell on November 10, 2013, in the county of Duval in the state of Florida, being a minor under 18 years of age, did unlawfully possess a firearm, contrary to the provisions of Section 790223, Florida statutes. Tesmentero Mitchell on August 23, 2016, in the county of Duval in the state of Florida, was unlawfully and knowingly in actual or constructive possession of a controlled substance, named or described in Section 893031C. Florida statutes less than 20 grams of cannabis, contrary to the provisions of Section 893136B, Florida statutes. Tesmentero Mitchell on May 9, 2017, in the county of Duval in the state of Florida, was unlawfully and knowingly in actual or constructive possession of a controlled substance, named or described in Section 893031C. Florida statutes less than 20 grams of cannabis, contrary to the provisions of Section 893136B, Florida statutes. If the defendant satisfies all of the conditions specified in this agreement during the time period provided by the state of Florida or the court, the defendant shall be sentenced to the range of time served to 20 years in Florida State Prison for Count 1 and for Count 2. If the defendant violates any of the terms of this agreement, including but not limited to failing to provide substantial assistance or truthful testimony as enumerated in paragraph 5, or fails to appear for any meetings, interviews, depositions, hearings, grand juries, and trials as required by the state of Florida, the designated investigating law enforcement agency, or the court, or fails to provide truthful and complete information and testimony at all such meetings, interviews, depositions, hearings, grand juries, and trials, or falsely implicates any person or entity through false information, or is arrested for a new criminal law violation, then the parties agree that the defendant may be sentenced to up to 30 years in Florida State Prison for both Count 1 and Count 2, the statutory maximum sentence allowed by law. The state of Florida need only prove any violation of this agreement to the court by a preponderance of the evidence. I further agree that if I abscond from the jurisdiction of the court, then I understand that I will be sentenced to the maximum punishment of 30 years in Florida State Prison for both Count 1 and Count 2. As a condition of my plea, I agree to provide truthful testimony at any lawful proceedings, including any meetings, hearings, statements, interviews, depositions, grand juries, trials, and post-conviction proceedings against any and all defendants charged in the cases in which I cooperate and provide assistance to law enforcement. I waive my right to withdraw this plea and agree my plea of guilty is irrevocable. I waive the 60-day time limit contained in Florida Rules of Criminal Procedure 3170 grams 2. I agree that all sworn statements or proffers given by me may be used against me in court. I further agree to continue to provide assistance throughout the continuation of this agreement. I understand that I shall not conduct any investigation or contact any subjects of these investigations without prior approval and or supervision of law enforcement. I understand that a violation of this paragraph is a violation of this agreement, and I will be sentenced according to the sentencing provisions outlined in paragraph 2 of this agreement. The defendant agrees, at the option of the state of Florida, to submit to polygraph examination to verify the truthfulness and completeness of any statement or testimony provided by the defendant pursuant to the requirement of this agreement. The state of Florida shall select the polygraph examiner. The defendant further agrees and stipulates to the competency of the examiner, the results of the examination, the reliability of polygraph examination, and waives any right to contest the results, competency, or liability. The defendant agrees and stipulates that an affidavit attesting to the results of the polygraph examination administered to the defendant pursuant to this agreement shall be admissible proof in the court of the state of the results of the examination. Defendant expressly waives the right to appeal, directly or collaterally, his or her sentence on any ground except to the extent that the sentence imposed was in excess of the statutory maximum, or was in violation of the law apart from the sentencing guidelines. I admit that there is a factual basis for the charges to which I am pleading, and I agree that the court may rely on the statements contained in the probable cause affidavit and police reports in determining this factual basis. I understand that by pleading guilty I give up the following constitutional rights: the right to trial by judge or jury, the right to be represented by counsel at trial, the right to have counsel appointed to represent me if I cannot afford to retain counsel, the right to present witnesses on my own behalf and to compel the attendance of those witnesses, the right to confront the witnesses against me, the right to require the state to prove its case against me beyond a reasonable doubt, and, for purposes of this plea hearing, my right against self-incrimination. I further understand that if I am not a citizen of the United States, that this plea may subject me to deportation. I also understand that by entering this plea I give up the right to appeal all matters relating to the judgment, including the issue of guilt or innocence. I have had ample time to discuss this agreement with my attorney. My attorney and I have read this agreement regarding my guilty plea together in private, and my attorney has explained all portions of this agreement to my complete understanding and satisfaction. We have fully discussed all aspects of this case, including all possible defenses to all charges, including self-defense and any defense based upon any disability, disease, insanity, or intoxication. My attorney has given me the opportunity to ask questions and has answered all of my questions fully and completely. My attorney has taken all actions requested by me, or has explained to my satisfaction and agreement why such actions should not be taken, and I concur with my attorney's decisions in that regard. I am completely satisfied with the services rendered by my attorney on my behalf in this case, have had sufficient time to consider all charges against me, all possible defenses and circumstances and mitigation, the advice of my attorney, the constitutional rights forfeited by entering into this plea agreement, and the potential consequences that the entry of a plea of guilty may have upon me. I have been provided with the opportunity for additional time to consider and reflect upon these matters, and I specifically state that I do not require any additional time to do so. I wish to proceed with the entry of my guilty plea. In open court, have under oath acknowledged to the judge of this court that I have read and understood this entire plea agreement, including the rights I am giving up by entering into it. I am not under the influence of any substance, drug, or condition, physical, mental, or emotional, which interferes with my appreciation of the entire plea agreement into which I am entering and all consequences thereof. I have not been deprived of, and am properly taking, any medication which is essential to my full, complete, and unimpaired understanding of the plea agreement and these proceedings. I have entered into and signed this plea of guilty and negotiated sentence freely and voluntarily. This plea of guilty and negotiated sentence form is true and correct in all respects, and this form represents the sole and complete agreement between myself and the state. No other agreements, representations, or promises have been made by myself, my attorney, the court, or any representative of the state.
Exclusive.
That bitch say Mr. said Fulio Charles. That bitch say Mr. said Fulio Charles Jones told him Bernell Davis Devontae got killed. That nigga saying all type of police shit. That bitch say Mr. said he heard somebody shot someone. Mr. Lad told him all that. He told him, man, all my brothers. This all our mud shot right here. They go me right. They go my mud shot right there. They go this everybody. Really with more people. It was really more people like this. Them niggas at the top and these people at the bottom. But out of all them 10 niggas got picked up and he was the one who snitched. Shit be like that, boy. And look, that was on them mud shot, that was my drill alone. I'm crack that Rico shit real though. Crack don't play by that shit. ask any of these niggas, you said, what? Man, fuck this, man.
Exclusive.